I so badly want to start this video like Peter Mon and be like, and I'm back. Of course I'm back. I'm not going anywhere. But I don't quite have the Peter Mon. I don't have a fan, so I can't pull off the Peter Mon thing. Well, I'm back. Sorry I haven't made a video for like a month now. Things kind of changed really quickly for me at the end of February, and that's what I wanted to talk about today, why I was gone, and the art of Swedish desk cleaning, as you can tell by the title of this video. So at the end of February, my mom asked me if I wanted to go help like pack up my grandma's stuff in her house in Illinois, because her memory is kind of dwindling. She's in a memory care facility in Florida. They really needed to just sell her condo for a lot of reasons, but that's not the point of this video. So I went, and at first we thought it was only gonna be like 2 weeks being there to try to clean up her stuff and move out. And it turned into 3 weeks, which it was nice to sort of bond like with my aunt who was also there. That was nice, but it was 3 weeks, and then I got back over a week ago, like 2 weeks ago now. And I've avoided making a video. The first week I got back, I was so exhausted. I pretty much just like slept and did nothing for like a week because I was just so exhausted, like moving stuff up and down. Like she had a townhouse with like 3-4 floors, or it was like 3 and then like there's a loft. So it's like almost 4 floors of stuff to just like move, and getting it ready to sell and everything. It was a lot. And that, like I said, is what I want to talk about with the Swedish art of Swedish death cleaning, which we kind of joked about when we were there. But like, I really haven't had to go through this with a grandparent or a parent or anything, like cleaning up all their stuff. But the art of Swedish death cleaning is really like, we need to implement more of that, unfortunately. I mean, I don't think my grandma ever thought that she was going to, a few years ago, like be in a memory care facility and not be able to do this herself. My grandma's always been like very independent and didn't really need anybody. I mean, after my grandpa died, it definitely took a turn with her, but still I don't think she ever probably thought she would not be able to like be involved with like selling her place or, you know, like things like that. Even though in a weird way, we all know we're gonna die, but like, you don't know when. You don't know like what the circumstances are. You don't want to necessarily get rid of all your stuff. And I get that. But I think there is an importance to letting go of things. Now that I've gone through this, there's an importance to letting go of things. I would say there's 3 things you should do as you're getting older and with your stuff. Is if you have kids, 1, handing it off to them and just saying like, if there's anything you like or want, like just take it. And also if there's anything like valuable or important, like giving that to them so they can appreciate it. One thing that I think my mom and my aunt realized with my grandma is that she had a lot of nice things, but it frustrated them to see all this stuff just kind of, even though my grandma wasn't a hoarder in the sense like you're thinking of with the show Hoarders, like it wasn't that level, but you can be a hoarder and like be pretty organized. And I think when we were cleaning, like especially for me, you don't really realize how much stuff a person has accumulated in their life until you're cleaning it up. It is just so much. And I think my aunt and my mom realized like she's had all of this stuff that she really never used, and they both really like a lot of the stuff she has. And it's like, well, she could have given this to us and we could have appreciated it and used it over the years, but instead it's just sat in a closet or a safe or whatever. I would just recommend like, either if you're doing it with your parent or grandparent or whatever, just being like, somebody else can appreciate this. Like it doesn't need to sit in a drawer, in a closet, whatever, like I said, and collect dust. You know, somebody else can appreciate it right now rather than it just somebody dealing with it when you die. And then almost like being resentful of like all the shit they have to deal with when you die. I've realized too that I think it's important to mark maybe in some way, whether it's in your will or whatever, or letting somebody know in your family, this is what's valuable and this is what's not. A lot of my grandma's stuff, like I said, she had nice stuff, but she also had a lot of junk. So I think it's important to just be like, you know, this piece is something really nice and important and I think should be passed down or whatever. And you should say, this is just junk and I don't care if you guys want it or if you want to sell it or give it to Goodwill or whatever it is. I think there's an important in distinguishing too, because it's hard when you don't necessarily remember, like my mom and my aunt were struggling to remember, like, did we have this, like, you know, back when X, Y, and Z? Or it's a struggle to remember things or know, like, is this valuable? Is this just junk? Some things are hard to discern, like whether it's worth hanging on to or selling or whatever. But yeah, I highly recommend if you are a younger person with a parent, like my mom I know has a lot of stuff, and she has a hard time getting rid of things. So I know one day I'm going to have probably an issue cleaning up her shit. I would say if you can, if your parent is open to it, just start, I don't know, even if you say you like something and even if maybe you don't really like it, but if they need to get rid of something, just telling them like, oh, I would like this, or I have a friend who, you know, likes this. And if they're like, oh, here, you can have it, take it and go do something else with it, because I promise you it's probably just gonna sit in their house, collect dust, and you're gonna have to deal with it down the road. So definitely, if you can, if you have somebody in your life who's open to that, like if you're a grandparent or parent, open to getting rid of stuff, like do it now, because it'll be so much work when they die and it's overwhelming. Like we had to do it in a really small period of time to get the house ready to sell, and it was hard. It was hard. And my grandma had downsized. The house she was living in Illinois that we just cleaned up was smaller than her previous house. So, and she had gotten rid of a lot of stuff. So even if it doesn't seem like a lot, like I really didn't think, like I said, she had as much stuff, because I knew her previous home was way bigger and I knew how much stuff she had gotten rid of. It still was a lot. It took us 3 weeks to get this house fully cleaned out with 3 people, like, which we had other people help, but like it was mainly just the 3 of us doing all of this for 3 weeks, and it was a lot. And it's still not even fully done because my grandma had a Steinway piano and my aunt also has her piano there, and we cannot get rid of those for the life of us. So if you want a Steinway piano or a Henry F. Miller piano, let us know. Baby grand pianos. I do appreciate having gone and doing that and cleaning out our house and kind of realizing like we don't need all this junk, but I'm also thankful that like I now get to have some of my grandma's things thanks to my aunt and my mom giving me some stuff that I love. I love my grandma's style that she had. Like, I really love it. It's just so nostalgic for me too, like growing up in her home, seeing certain things. It's just, it feels good. But also it's important, like you look at it and it's like, I don't need this junk. But another thing I realized while we were there, so we actually found, I probably will add videos in of this. It was really cool. So my grandma had an old slide projector in her house still, and like old photographs on a little slide cards. And one night the 3 of us just watched, or looked at all the slides and pictures from my mom and my aunt growing up, and like pictures from like the 60s and the 70s and stuff. And it was so cool to see those photos. And it was crazy seeing a lot of these photos and seeing the stuff that like my grandma has had literally since she was married, first married back in like, yeah, the 60s. And just seeing like, being like, oh, that's still here and that's still here and that's, and I think it was cool for my aunt and my mom to see too, because they kind of forgot like, oh yeah, this stuff's been around for a long time. And I think that's also the difference with people now, is that like, we just don't really, people my age especially, like we don't have stuff that we're probably going to hang on to for the rest of our lives, furniture wise. Like a lot of people buy really crappy furniture, and I'm guilty of it too. I have a lot of crappy furniture that I'm probably not going to have for the rest of my life. And we don't have those things to pass down. It's crazy to see my grandma, who has had this stuff for like, 50 plus years in her house to this day. I think it's important that, one, we obviously don't hoard things and we don't let our parents hoard things and we try to get rid of it, but also like, it's important to hang on to the things that we know are obviously valuable, but also like things that we can use and reuse and have for a really long time. We're so used to now like just getting like some junky thing and like for 20 bucks and then throwing it away in a couple years. While I know like traditional kind of home styles, not everybody's cup of tea, but like I think it's important to find pieces that you really like and want to hang on to, because we can't just like, this goes into my video about wastefulness, but like we really need to appreciate some of the older things and like, or things that are just better quality, and hang on to those things and take care of them, because this crap, like a lot of the crap, like this is from Target, this table over here, like well, it's also a shoe rack. I kind of need it for right now because I live in a little apartment, so I need storage, obviously, but like I'm not gonna hang on to this for 50 years, probably. I'm just not. And it's okay for some of that, but we also need to be conscious of like what we're buying and consuming and stuff. So anyway, I think, like I said, there's an importance to getting rid of things and letting stuff go and not hoarding it, but also appreciate the things that are quality goods, or at least like if you don't want to hang on to the quality goods, like give it to somebody who will love it and take care of it. But yeah, that's all I have to say. That's my take on the art of Swedish death cleaning. I don't know if this video was a very cohesive thought or not, but I just wanted to make something and get back on here and get back into the groove. Sorry, like I said, it's been 3 weeks, it's been like 4 weeks actually, it's been like a month since I put out a video, but I'm going to keep making videos. I just really didn't have time when I was there to do anything, so. But thank you for those who are sticking around and subscribing. Thank you to those watching this, and I'll see you next time. Bye.